Hello, everybody. What's up? This is the one and only African superstar back at it again. Big shout outs to the African superstar family. Yes, yes, yes. I'm in the building. And once again, I'm talking about current events. I'm still here in sunny Bermuda. Yes. And I wanted to talk about the current race riots that are happening in the UK. So I briefly touched on them on my last live stream where I talked about Sanya Massey and I talked about these race riots. And so, like I mentioned, there was an incident a few weeks ago where some young children were killed in, I believe, like a dance studio. It was a birthday party or something like that. A British born person went in and committed this attack. But somehow it was communicated online that the perpetuator of this incident was an immigrant asylum seeker in the UK. So your friends in the UK, the far right, which is considered the conservative, you could probably align them with like the Trump supporters, the country, very racist, very conservative, traditional people, took that misinformation and ran and have started rioting throughout the country in major cities, London, Belfast, Birmingham, Manchester. I've seen a lot of videos and things like that. People have been sending me information, and I wanted to talk about it because I think our people, again, are suffering from cognitive dissonance. We do not want to see things as they are. We don't want to accept the truth. So maybe if you hear it from me, you will understand what the race riots in the UK really say is that they don't like your black ass. Hello. All of your neighbors, colleagues, people that you have been capping for, people that you have been excusing, people that you have wanted to wishfully believe stand for equality and justice and diversity and all these things. They don't like you, okay? They don't think you belong in their nation. And any little reasoning to express that to you, they will. They will. And the message I continually tell on this channel is that when you are living in those environments, okay, you have to be mindful. See, a lot of you want to be friends with your historical enemy. You want to find reasons to smooth it over. And from what I understand about enemies, is once an enemy, always an enemy. I'm going to pose this question to those of you in the chat room. Big shout out to the African Superstar family. We have a couple of you there already. Big shout outs, Black Beauty always. I see you there. Big shout outs to Samson. Yes. Please make sure you guys like the stream. What I know about enemies is once an enemy, always an enemy. Now, those of you in the chat room can attest. If there's ever been an instance where you've had a friend that has betrayed you, or a lover that's done you wrong, cheated on you, or a business partner that has done something dodgy, lied, in some cases, you guys will forgive them, take them back, reconcile, be friends again. It's always a very reckless and dangerous thing to do. I talked about several weeks ago, the parable of Samson and Delilah. And I think that's a great illustration of what happens when you continually entertain your enemies. And like Muhammad Ali said, once you've been bit by a dog, you will always be apprehensive of dogs from that moment forward. Okay. And it's wise to do so. So what all of this means is, you cannot make friends with your enemy. There are a lot of Black people, a lot of African people, a lot of ethnic minorities in the UK that are shocked by these race riots. I mean, it's coming as a complete surprise to them that these people would behave like this. And what I always say is the underbelly is always there. Because why? Because they're inherently racist. Duh. And so what the race riots mean. Hello? They don't like your black ass. All I can say. And you can have long, paragraphs and, oh, it's not right. And, we do, we're this and that. And historically they, because actually the history is that most ethnic minorities kind of are forced into this migration thing, if we're honest. And the reality is that most people that are forced into this migration thing is because the West has systemically destabilized their nations, modern day and historically. Okay, creating the vacuum for people to seek greener pastures for opportunities, right? Because the opportunities are not in their backyard. They're not accessible there. If you talk to many immigrants, because some of you guys don't know many immigrants and you guys don't fraternize with them. Hello. If you actually talk to many of them, they would tell you they prefer their home to the West. Hello. They miss their language. They miss their culture. They miss their family. They miss their food. They miss the safety. Hello. Now, obviously, that wouldn't apply to people that are coming from conflict areas. But again, if we investigate where some of these conflicts originate and who's actually funding these conflicts and who's actually involved in these conflicts, again, the culprit is the West. So if we want to get down to it, that really is the origins of why there are so many immigrants in the West, for instance. But they don't care about any of the actual reasoning. Nor do they want to even the playing field, nor do they want to do the moral right thing, okay? All they want to do is tear club up, show their ass, become violent, attack people for their inherent racism and dislike of our people. What I could tell you guys, what I continually advise you is you should always be mindful of this fact. And if you need to be in the West for, your education or you've gone there for a specific purpose, make sure you remember that. And make sure you're always having a plan B because of things like this. Now, in these instances, I can pretty much guarantee I'm not in the UK, but I've lived in the UK and I know the sentiments there. Many of the Black people I've encountered in England, they're peaceful, they're calm, they're friendly, they're inviting. I'm pretty sure they're not ready to go toe-to-toe with these violent, far-right, conservative, white British people. So that means that when they come with their angry mob or their sticks or knives or whatever, or they're setting things on fire, a lot of these Black people are going to become victims. They're going to be uncomfortable. They're going to be scared. They're not going to be retaliatory because that's not how our people, unfortunately, behave. Our people are always trying to be the peacemakers. And no, we don't want, let's all kumbaya. Hello, they don't want to get along. They don't want to be friends. They have never wanted to be friends. They've never come with peace treaties. They've never extended the right hand of fellowship. Am I right or am I right? Because it is what it is. What the race riots in the UK are saying to those of you in Europe that are delusional about this whole diversity thing and inclusion is they don't like you. And stuff can pop off at any time. And what I encourage those of you in Europe to think about is if that happens, what are you going to do? You got all your eggs in Germany. You got all your eggs in Portugal. You got all your eggs in Italy or UK. Now what? Some of you are probably in the UK scared to even go out to work. I received in, several WhatsApp groups that I have that a lot of my British friends are a part of. There's like this little template for you to send to your employer if you're nervous about going to work. Because literally they're attacking people. for no reason. They're seeing that Black or brown, Asian people, Muslims, Africans, and they're literally targeting you. So now you've got all your eggs in that kind of environment. What are you going to do? And I know we refuse to accept what they continue to display, what they continue to show us. I don't think I have any qualms about the fact that these people don't like my people. They have not ever liked my people from the evidence of history, and the evidence of modern day also indicates that they still don't like my people. Because if they had any love for our people, they would not be tolerating such foolishness going on. And the mobs that are coming out, it means that it's a sizable amount. As we call them in America, the silent majority, the people that masquerade. We all know that white people are really good with double faces. We know they're very good at playing the part. Huh? So that means some of these people that you guys thought were down and you thought were cool and you thought were liberal and, your friends and your colleagues and your family, and hey, they're out there with the far right. Now, they share in the sentiments of the far right. They're not out condemning them. Hello? Hello? Where are your friends in America? Where are your white friends in America? Are they condemning what's going on in the UK? Is America ready to intervene? Are they ready to send some military? America is the first one to get involved in foreign conflicts. They're always ready to send aid. They're always ready to send troops. Are they doing anything to help the UK mobilize? After all, UK police, some of them, they don't even carry weapons. Do they have a National Guard situation like what the US has to respond to these things? Because from what I'm seeing, it's out of control. And they've actually published a schedule of the cities that they're planning to go to. So they're moving throughout the country to demonstrate in various countries. I spoke to a friend of mine, a friend who's from Sierra Leone 2 days ago, and he lives in Oxford. And so he told me that, they're supposed to be coming to, Oxford yesterday. And I said, do you have to go to work? And he was like, no, I have the day off. And I said, you know what? You should probably stay inside because anything could happen. And again, I know him. He's a gentle, kind, man minding his own business. He's not ready for the angry, violent, dangerous mob. What the UK race riots are saying is the same things you should be getting from these demonstrations in America. They don't like us, guys. They don't like us. I know it's hard. I know it's so hard. Because of the cognitive dissonance, because of the religious brainwashing, because of this whole fake, non-existent concept of inclusion and diversity. We're the only ones who ingest that crap. You guys believe we can integrate with them. You ain't trying to integrate with the rest of the diaspora, huh? Some of you Black Americans got big problems with Africans, with Caribbean people. Some of you Africans have problems with Black Americans. Some of you Caribbean people are so colonized and so, racist to other Blacks. Yeah, you guys want to integrate with enemies. Violent, racist people. You want to be friends and y'all want to get into that before your own people that share your likeness, people that go through the same experiences that you go through, people that can relate to you. You don't want to be friends with them. You want to be friends with everybody else. But where is that getting you, though? Where's your diversity and inclusion getting you? Take a look outside your window, guys. You're in the UK. Hello. All your kumbaya prayers, hopes and wishes. What is that getting you? And let's be honest, a lot of people are doing jobs in the UK. I personally know, the UK recruits healthcare workers from abroad. Okay. They recruit a lot of the Africans that are there. They recruit a lot of the Asians, the Indians and the Pakistani people. They recruit them to come to England because they are facing shortages. The same way they recruited them to come for after World War II to rebuild the nation. They went to the Caribbean and recruited these people to come. Okay, it was not by osmosis that the immigrants came. It was by demand. Hold on just a minute. Hello, dear. How are you? Good evening. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I was trying to message you.
Yeah, I know the number is a foreign number, so
great.
It's okay.
I got ginger ale.
All right, sweetie. Thank you. Have a good evening. Okay? Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So, I don't, because like I said to you guys on the last live stream, I spent my entire summer in the US. I don't know how you guys feel comfortable among these people that could literally, they don't like you. They're looking for any reason to eliminate and harm you. You know what I mean? They don't think you deserve anything, even what you work for. You think you're going to use the legal system to enforce it and make them do the right thing. Has that been working? Has that been working? Don't you know that these inherent racist people are in high places? Hello, the judges, the sheriffs, the bailiffs, the constable, the prime minister. Do you not understand that? Because you guys think that, I don't know. I don't know. And my opinion is, I think the safest thing, okay, when it comes to harm's way, is reducing your proximity. That's what I personally believe. So if across the street there is a wildfire raging, okay, or let's say you're in America, let's say there's an active shooter in the building across the street. One of the safest things you can do right immediately is to alleviate your chances of being harmed in that incident. It's proximity, right? I don't think there's any of us that would see a burning building if we're not a firefighter, okay? And it's not maybe our house and our kids or our dog inside or whatever that would see a burning building and want to go in, okay? I don't think there's too many of us that would say, oh my God, there's an active shooter in the Walmart. Let me go in there and survey the situation. But yet and still, we continually want to exist in environments where these kind of people are around us, surrounding us. So all I think about is, like I said, some of our people live in the most obscure, non-diverse locations. Oh my goodness. Hold on just a minute. Hey, Mom.
Hi.
Hey, Aunt Mel. How you doing?
Close the door. Our Mel's got to go to the restroom.
Okay. You guys in? All right. How was your outing? Good. Yeah, right? Live. So I only can wonder what some of our people that are living in some of these really non-diverse communities in the UK, like how safe could they possibly feel right now with all this stuff going on? Real talk, how safe could they possibly feel with all this stuff going on? Big shout out to the African Superstar family. We have 25 of you here, but we don't have 25 of you in the chat. And I'm getting ready to start shout outs. If you have any comments about this topic, please leave them in the chat room. Otherwise, I'll be wrapping up soon. Today's topic is, what do the race riots in the UK really mean? What are they saying? They're reiterating what we should already know. And they are prefacing that we should not have our eggs in one basket. We should have a plan B. And obviously, as the African superstar, we can't negate the potential options that the continent affords us, the safety that the continent provides us. You know, the prospective things in the future that are available in Africa that are not available in the West. Now, are we going to face an angry race mob in Africa? No. Some of you might say, yeah, well, in South Africa, they have xenophobia and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, and that's true, but that's one place. Now, will we as the diaspora face that? It hasn't historically been the diaspora. It's historically been, unfortunately, other African communities like Nigerians and Zimbabwe and things like that, that, you know, South Africans, it's complex. But that's one nation out of 54. You know, the overwhelming safety that we can, you know, that we're afforded on the continent, it pales in comparison to what we face and have to be dealing with in the West. You know, and I mean, the racial climate historically has been more intense in America, but I mean, this situation in the UK is showing that once again, they're letting their feelings and perspective on us be known. And even in this case and scenario, this was not a black-white situation per se in the UK. It had to do with you know, from what I understand, it was not even disclosed, this immigrant's ethnicity. It was an immigrant asylum seeker. So that's a basically non-white person is who they are now projecting all these things on. So big shout out to African Superstar family. Okay, shout out time. Black Beauty always, I see you in the building. Samson says, I personally think that there is nothing nice about a riot. Yeah, indeed. Layla, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hale Bob says, I'll tell you what it's about. White English people have been traditionally liberal individuals. The pressures of mass immigration are leading to collective racial consciousness. That's a whole lot of comment to say what I've said, which is they don't like us. Even if we're coming there to do jobs and things like that, we're still unwanted. We still just have, you know, a certain perimeters of how we're supposed to be in society. You know, and I mean, I've been seeing this viral TikTok trend right now, which is, you know, all these immigrants are posting about coming to take jobs in England. And the reality is that they're doing skilled jobs. You know, they're lawyers, they're doctors, they're other medical staff and things like that. These are jobs that they have either trained for in their home country or trained for in England. And it's not that these far right people could easily step into their shoes. Now, nobody's prohibiting the far right from getting into this skilled labor. You know, the elimination of a lot of blue collar jobs is due to technology and AI, not necessarily the immigrants. Now, you can be mad that some of these companies are outsourcing because that is eliminating jobs. They outsource to foreign nations. But again, that's not happening in the mainland. That's happening in the Philippines and in Vietnam and Mexico and things like that. Big shout out to the African Superstar family. Well, this goes without saying. Hellbop says it will become a civil rights movement to protect the interests of Native. They're always going to be the preferred in their nation. And we can't really be mad at that because that's their nation. You know, what we have to focus on is our own homeland, our own backyard, what's going on with our own people. You know what I mean? That needs to be our priority, because we're never going to be a priority or a preference in these nations. And once we get it through our thick skulls, we can start moving forward with the next mode of action. What's up? What's up? Eb7, I see you there. Big shout outs. Derek Weatherspoon's in the building. Yes. Eb7 says, for the longest time, Black folks in the UK have told Black Americans that racism doesn't exist. That was not my experience living there. Black British have expressed that, yes, they do also face it. You know, it may be not as pronounced as what Black Americans deal with, but they definitely deal with it. They definitely get profiled by the police. They definitely face systemic racism. They definitely face, you know, missed promotions and all kind of things, stereotypical expectations, blah, blah, blah. They face those things too. Maybe not in the same context, but I've never ever had a Black British person tell me that racism doesn't exist and things like that. So not sure where you're getting that from. Derek says, American race riots will cook the planet. What's up? What's up? What's up? Now they act like it's not. We're making it up 100%. Shout out to Superstar Bella, period. That's what it says. Because that's just the truth. That's the truth. And you guys can make excuses. No, they're not all like that. Look at the angry moms that's tearing up the UK. And if you guys are not familiar with this stuff, because I do realize like places in Africa, and I don't know what the coverage is like in America currently or Canada or whatever. I understand a lot of this is not getting publicized for a reason. But you can Google UK race riots to see how extensive and how huge these crowds are. And it's like, yeah, it's that colleague at work that acts like they're cool, says good morning to you. You know, it's that next door neighbor. It's that cashier at Tesco. You know, it's the worker at the daycare you take your child. The sooner we grip it and understand it, we know what we're up against. We stop playing house with people that don't like us and don't have anything for us. Because at the end of the day, it's dangerous. It's dangerous to be in proximity with these kind of people. Seriously. Ask the people that's getting attacked by the mobs. I saw on TikTok this morning, there was a man who was at work, apparently, a couple days ago. The angry mob came along and overturned his car and set it on fire. And so he set up a GoFundMe to replace his car because he got off a 12-hour shift, came out, his car was destroyed. And here he is working, taking one of those jobs that, they want, and might I add, there is very few white carers that I worked with when I worked in the UK. They didn't want to do them 12-hour shifts. They certainly didn't want to do the night shift. You know what I mean? And yet they're acting like, we're being selected over them somehow, which is a lie. Big shout outs to the family. Afua says his parents are from Rwanda and he was born in the UK. I'm not sure who she's referring to. Tony, what's up? Big shout outs to African Superstar family. Mark Jose, Muslim isn't a race. It's a religion, but it has been weaponized as such. We are free people here in the UK. I hear you. I hear you. Whatever you want to say, buddy. Whatever delusions of grandeur you want to say. Because the race riots are saying something else. They're not saying that we're deeply cherished or anything like that. It's saying that this sentiment has been brewing. And now this incident is allowing them to express themselves. And you're correct. Muslim is not a race. It's a religion. So it could apply to a Pakistani person or someone from Ghana, which is all the more an orifice for them to act out on all or any immigrant that they come across. But you say it's a free country. I don't know. Eb7 says Native English have the nerve wanting civil rights after everything they have done to indigenous people globally. They don't ever take into consideration their history. They try to estrange themselves from the history and say that they haven't benefited and they're not responsible and that there's nothing that they need to do to absolve that, which we know is crazy. Because we know, for instance, everything, for every action, there's a reaction. There are ramifications for things that have happened in the past. There is, wealth that was generated from things that have happened from the past and that you're still benefiting from modern day. So there is some type of recourse that's needed, and there is some type of, reparations that are due. But this I agree with. Eb7 says it's a very polite racism. It's and if you're not actually paying attention in some instances, you can try to negate it. Oh, they weren't being this and that. It was just because of this. I missed that promotion because I wasn't qualified. That police officer was just doing his job. It wasn't because, unlike in America, when it goes down in America, you cannot deny why it has happened to you. Big shout outs. What's up? What's up? I do says this is how it started in Germany in the 30s, and we all know how what came from that. This needs to stop. Tony Africa, what's up? What's up? What's up? Exactly. Like I said, when we're talking about this specific situation here, they have started to include us in this. There was no description of the person supposedly who committed this crime, but what was perpetuated across the line was that they were an immigrant, they were Muslim, and they were asylum seekers. So again, that's a broad description, and so therefore Black people have been getting attacked with this. Even though it's now a fact that the person that committed this crime was a British-born person. Probably a white, because they're not saying specifically, but a British-born person is the one who completed this attack. But now the immigrants are being attacked. Just because immigrants are bad. Because look at what an immigrant did. They did this violence. We want them out of this country. But what about the white terrorists that are in your country? How do you feel about them? What's your perspective about them? Mark Joe says history. It's mixed like every culture. Of course, there's bad, but look at everywhere, to be honest. It's fair to criticize, but be open with it. Oh, that's what the person is saying. The Diaspora Connect from Tanzania is saying he's a British born from Uganda. Okay, all right. So that's the latest on the person who committed the attack. So thank you so much, everybody. We had over 30 of you in the room today. Tony says he was a 17-year-old British-born from Rwandan parents. He was also a British actor. Wow. Okay, I'm going to have to go online and Google it to get the latest, because the last I looked, which I didn't look today, to be fair. So I do need to look it up and get more of the details. But nonetheless, the moral of the story is what these riots are telling us. They're telling us more of what we should already know. They're telling us a historical account. And they're telling us, like I said, we should have our eyes open to other options. Once upon a time, we could easily say that we were unaware of options internationally. And, many of us felt that, okay, the West is the place to be, especially if you are an immigrant person. Your family migrated to the West for greener pastures and opportunities and blah, blah, blah. And maybe in some context, safety if there was a war going on. And we don't really know anything else or any other options. People all around us are telling us it's the place to be. It's the land of opportunity, blah, blah, blah. That may not necessarily be the case of 2024. And what needs to happen for you as an individual is you need to evaluate, is it really safe? Is it really the place to be? What other options do I have? Do I have a plan B in place? Because if you don't, and in the drama of these nations, because in addition to what's happening there, they're always continually involving themselves in other countries' conflicts. That can also lead to something. And when that happens, just like the Africans that were in Ukraine when Russia decided to invade, the Africans that were in Ukraine have nothing to do with any of their conflicts. Many of them were students. But they got caught up in a situation because of their location. So in other words, their problems become our problems by default when we are there. You see? And so that is why I've made the decision that I've made, which is I'm going to go ahead and be on the continent. Safer. I don't want to get involved in anybody's mishaps. The country I live in has never had war. Okay, the country I live in is not interested in international conquest. Okay, the country I live in doesn't have race riots or overwhelming gun violence, or a huge number of the people that perpetuate such things. And that's where I'm going to be at. What's up, family? I see some of you guys coming in. I'm just wrapping up now. What's up, Fitzroy? Big shout outs to the African Superstar family. Sammy Sun 66 says English are deeply territorial, and racially aggressive. We are comfortable only in our allotted zones. Reality hits if we ever venture out into the suburbs, the English villages. Big shout outs to you. Very, very true. Here we go. Here's some cognitive dissonance. Listen to this. We have been overwhelmingly accepting of migration. It is a very mixed culture here now, but the mass migration brought extremists, and that's what they're fighting is Islamic extremism. Wow. Wow. We have been overwhelmingly accepting of migration. Like I talked about at the beginning of this broadcast, the reality is there are some underlying reasons of migration. And a lot of that migration has to do with actually the British imprint on the world. The destabilization and colonization of countless nations has led to people venturing to England, for instance, for greener pastures. Because England is holding their resources. Hello. Because England has benefited off the back of so many nations without compensating them. Hello. Because when the slave trade ended in England, the slave traders were compensated and not the actual people who were affected by slavery. Hello. In effect, people that are coming from nations that have been colonized by the British, they shouldn't even be classified as immigrants. Because after all, many of them were considered overseas territories. Huh? That means whatever's going on in the mainland, I can take advantage of that. And actually, if England or America actually wants to solve its immigrant problem, they would focus their efforts on helping nations establish themselves. or whatever, or making fair business trade, or returning artifacts and resources, or stolen wealth. But I'm not going to get into that because I just want to keep it short and sweet and simple. It's very clear what these race riots are saying. And if anybody's confused, I don't know how. I get the message loud and clear. This guy. Big shout outs to the African superstar family. Oh, no premature. Thank you so much. I'm wrapping up. I gotta go. But thank you for stopping by. This is what I'm saying, and I'm going to end here. Big shout outs to you guys. Make sure you like the stream. We had quite a crowd of you guys here. You can definitely check out the playback. Diaspora Connect Tanzania says this stabbing and killing of 3 little girls by a 17-year-old born Brit from Africa has started this whole migrant riot. Come on. They have been wanting to do this, and now they have a reason. I mean, she summed it up, and it's true. You know, this just stirs the underlying thoughts and sentiments. And so if you are one of us living abroad, as always, take heed of the message, you know, and staying and trying to exist and trying to live in a place where you're not wanted, or be involved in relationships you're not wanted, or people who don't want you or love you, it's a sign of low self-esteem. You know, when you have pride, you will not subject yourself to unnecessary rejection and potential danger just to prove a point. You know, it's actually a moot point. Because many of us who come to the realization or accepting that our origins lead us elsewhere, we know it's not our indigenous home. So what's the point of trying to prove that we deserve, you know, to be there? Now, we're given human rights at birth. No other human gets to designate that we deserve the right to live and safety and all of that. But the reality is that when you're living among unreasonable people, violent, irrational people, they don't adhere to the fact that you deserve human rights. And they will do whatever they want to do. And that's your decision if you want to keep on trying to be there and making your mark or forcing yourself to be there, you know? So, all right, guys, I'm out. I'm out. I'm wrapping up. Big shout outs. What's up? What's up? I just covered it. What's up, Muttley? I said it is what it is. They've shown us countless times, but it's just a refresher for 2024. If you were confused about how they feel, how they view us, they're letting it be known. And it's sweeping the whole country. And it's not small crowds, it's big ones. Big shout outs to the African superstar family. Thank you guys for tuning in to another live stream. Do remember we are up for an award in Amsterdam. All funds that are coming in, Super Chats and PayPals, are all going towards votes. We're currently in the second position with about 1,500 votes, but the current first place person has about 3,000. And the voting ends within the next week. So I'll keep giving you guys screenshots on the community tab about that. We actually won this very award in Paris last year, so we would love to bring it home again. Competition is steep, so I do appreciate everybody sending in support to go towards the votes, okay? So big shout out to the African superstar family. Until we meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.